to recognize one of the doctors on our subcommittee, Dr. Burgess of Texas, for your 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you, Chair Issue. Thank you for having this hearing today. Every one of these witnesses today is fascinating. There won't be enough time to get to all the questions that I have in front of me, and I would just tell each of you you can expect questions for the record to be coming your way. I just want to underscore something that our ranking member, Catherine Morris Rogers, said at the outset of this hearing. I mean, we've got 11 public health bills in front of us. Most of them will concern the Department of Health and Human Services, the National Institute of Health, and we have no administration witnesses in front of us. And in fact, over the term of this Congress, we've had very little in the way of participation of administration witnesses at a time we're in a once in a century pandemic. And Chairman Pallone, I've written to you several times about what appears to be the passivity of this committee, which is unfortunate because we are one of the premier research committees in the United States House of Representatives, but I don't feel we have done our work. Today we had an opportunity to perhaps hear from some of those agencies, but again, we're not. We do have good witnesses, and I don't want to diminish what they are bringing to the discussion, but there is a lot of work that is left undone. And so let me just point out that Chairwoman DeGette, in an Oversight and Investigation Subcommittee hearing a year ago, promised to me individually, a hearing on the originations of the coronavirus, the COVID origination hearing. And to the best of my knowledge, we have not had such a hearing. And again, we desperately need it. Mr. Shannon, who's with us here today, certainly your expertise is one that we value. I think you bring a lot to the discussion. Let me just ask you, since you worked at the NIH until January of 2021, do you think the NIH considers itself to be a leader in global health research?
I do. NIH is a global collaborator, and rightfully so. I think although I think the U.S. is more innovative than most, it doesn't have a corner on the market of good ideas. So I think that's an important consideration, that we must have international collaboration, but we've got to do our due diligence to protect that collaborative relationship and make sure that it is transparent and reciprocal. And there are some there are solutions. You know, a national research security standard, for example, would be very helpful to help NIH have a cohesive strategy, and even consideration of expansion of the IG opportunity. So there are things that can be done to help NIH be even more diligent in their global activities, which are absolutely necessary to the benefit of our research and development enterprise.
Well, thank you. You actually anticipated and answered my next question, but it just underscores the point. The NIH is going to be collaborating with foreign entities and researchers, and we have to have the proper measures and procedures in place to certainly to protect Americans, but as we've seen in a global pandemic, we want to be certain we protect the world at large. Let me just ask you this. To your knowledge, and I realize that you concluded your term in January 2021 with the NIH, but did the United States federally fund gain-of-function research?
Sir, I have no idea. I wasn't privy to any of the discussions on the scientific side of things. I was oversight and compliance. A question on whether or not a grant was appropriately used on any type of deliberative research would be brought through the extramural research compliance arena.
Well, my time's going to run out, so let me ask you this question. Would it have been appropriate to engage in this type of research in an adversarial country? And I think we have to agree that China, Russia, and Iran would be adversarial countries. Would that be problematic if research was conducted in one of those labs?
Again, sir, I think there are circumstances where international collaboration may include countries that are adversarial or not. Again, the decision and discussion process through the peer review and the laws and requirements that allow what type of research to be done, I don't have knowledge on whether or not that
Let me
grant in
just ask you
particular was
this,
appropriate.
because it was 2 years ago, the city of Houston, where the Chinese consulate, they had to call the fire department because they were burning records in open trash barrels. And apparently the fire was so large that it attracted attention.
The gentleman's time has expired.
Well, I will follow up with Mr. Shannon in writing, but I mean, it's this type of activity that leads the casual observer to be suspicious of some of these actions. And I thank our witnesses, all of our witnesses.
Gentleman yields back. Pleasure to recognize the